I'm so tired of ugly people acting like attractive people are ugly because they're mean.
Ooh, and what do we have here? Uninformed vanity?
Being attractive is a physical quality.
Correct. However, a person could say that someone being attractive is actually something that's multifaceted.
Yes, it is offensive when unattractive people hit on you as an attractive person.
Only to the self absorbed. Because most intelligent individuals actually understand that a person is going to miss 100% of the shots that they don't take.
Ugly people would never understand that because they've never been hit on.
Really? Now that's some audacity. To think someone would go so far as to believe that whoever they consider to be unattractive obviously would never be considered attractive by anyone else for any other reason.
And every time a hot girl says that, people just come on and you're like, you're ugly. You're an ugly person on the inside. Like, do you think that people approach you based on what's inside?
I think someone needs a little reminder that while it is true that people are often approached based on what they look like, they are often rejected for the type of person that they actually are.
Let's stop moving the goalpost and like you can be beautiful and a horrible person. That does not make you ugly. And anyone who says it does is just coping.
Speaks the voice of experience in regards to coping. Because for some, it's actually easier to be rejected for who they are than not to be approached at all. Imagine that level of vanity.
Someone please explain to me why men are so threatened by a woman that is not desperate for a man. Why does it bother you so much?
In answer to someone's question, most men, in fact, have no desire at all to be in any kind of relationship with a desperate woman. Because desperation just reeks of insecurity. And insecurity, in many cases, often leads to toxicity in relationships. And any person, whether it be a man or a woman who is confident and comfortable in themselves, wants to stay as far away from toxic relationships as possible. Although I noticed that someone didn't actually wait for an answer to the question. See this. And one particular phrase there really stuck out because I have been noticing it being used by some women as a way to apparently try to shame men. It's that confident women don't intimidate real men. But I would be curious to hear how many women can actually define what a real man actually is.
Men marry the safe girl much more than they marry the dream girl.
Interesting theory. I wonder if that can actually be proven. Or is that just something that some women try to say to justify why they've been left by a man for a better woman? Because from what I have seen, most men actually do marry their dream woman, someone who brings them happiness and peace, as opposed to someone who brings them nothing but nightmares.
And that is because protecting their ego matters more to them than chasing someone who would never accept anything less than the best.
Let's be brutally realistic for a moment. There are some women out there who really have not the slightest idea what actually makes a woman a good woman, or has any concept at all of what many men consider to be marriage material in a woman. Because just a friendly reminder, a lot of men usually know very early on in the stages of a relationship if they're ever even going to consider marrying that woman. But the reason most of these women are so lost in the sauce is because they spend the majority of their time listening to other women, mostly single women, describe the best ways to keep a man in a relationship. I'm feeling a little feisty today. So let's have a bit of fun. So not only did someone leave this very charming comment, they also left this photo with it. So I actually have a question, and this goes for anyone, especially those that like to leave disparaging comments on my page or anyone's page. Is it just a way of trying to say that someone doesn't actually have anything relevant to contribute? Because I've noticed that a lot of individuals will leave disparaging, nasty comments, but they never actually leave anything in regards to constructive criticism or any kind of rebuttal. Why is that? Is it because someone can't actually articulate what they want into words, so they just have to leave photos and nasty little messages? I would actually challenge someone to actually come up with an interesting rebuttal in regards to anything that I've actually said. Or else I'm just going to assume that someone lacks the, shall we say, capacity to do so. And that would be most unfortunate.
If your first reaction to hearing men are trash is not all men, not me, you are missing the forest for the trees.
Really? Do explain.
Now, either literally millions of women are lying about their experiences with men for no reason, or it's time to accept that there might be a problem with men.
Well, indeed. There is a problem out there with some men. That is the key word that a lot of individuals like to leave out of this particular conversation is the word some, because it's so much easier just to generalize everyone than to actually focus on those individuals that are really the problem.
And I know that accepting that there is a problem with men and violence means that if you do care about the state of the world, and if you do care about protecting the women that you say you want to protect, that it might mean you actually have to do something or say something.
And a lot of men, believe it or not, actually do something or say something, but yet they're still just seen as guilty as every other man because it's all men, right?
Just not being part of the problem doesn't make you part of the solution. So ask yourself, who are you protecting? The Brotherhood? What brotherhood are we talking about? Because based on what I'm seeing from all these masculine influencers, they're ready to kill and eat you at the slightest bit of provocation.
It's almost as if that was an excellent example of the behaviors of some men. Again, they keep leaving out that word.
Men are out here claiming that they want to be protectors of women, but they will not protect women from themselves.
I would almost be willing to bet that someone that I could mention probably considers themselves to be an ardent male feminist. Yet, ironically, I'm not seeing how that's the case because they're not acting in the way in which a true feminist would be. Because feminism, after all, is about equality and equal treatment and fairness. Yet, they're tolerating the unfair treatment of an entire population of people, men, based on the actions of some of those members of that group. Not very feminist minded, is it?
These types of people, they want men to, basically they're putting men on perpetual neighborhood watch. Perpetual neighborhood watch. Right? So there are dangers that they're just going to come to the neighborhood. It just is what it is. And then you say, okay, well, these dangers keep on coming and they're more frequent. We need to get a neighborhood watch. But what usually happens for these situations is some people in the neighborhood will go out knowing that there's danger, and they'll put themselves basically in a line of fire, in the line of danger. They'll be in places that they don't need to be in. Say, for instance, this neighborhood has like a path that is super dark at night. Nobody goes there. People have advised, the neighborhood watch has advised them not to go. And then they go in that path at night and they're surprised that something bad happens. And then they're coming to the neighborhood watch and saying, hey, why don't you guys patrol that area a little bit more? People are getting hurt. And what you really mean is you're getting hurt because you shouldn't have been over there. We tried to tell you not to do that, but you act like you didn't hear us. So what they're wanting men to do is not only be vigilant in the neighborhood, they're wanting men to step up and be neighborhood watch. Only men, by the way. You be neighborhood watch forever and ever. And what neighborhood watch means to me is you're basically the police. This is basically your second job. When you get home from your day job as a man, you go into security mode. Oh, and by the way, you need to take care of your other responsibilities while simultaneously riding around the community. All of the men, if y'all all get together, y'all can take a shift and do it. An hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. Actually, if you spend 6 hours out there, nothing is too great for our kids and our family. Ooh, we're worth that much. But then we'll go out there and step outside of the protection and get themselves in trouble. And men get tired of that. I get tired of telling you, hey, we are watching. We're doing the best that we can, but you need to help us help you. Stay out of trouble. Do not go here during these hours. Well, it should be free to go. I pay the taxes. I should be able to go wherever I want. You should be, but the reality of the situation is you can't. So don't go over there during these hours. Number one, number two, you shouldn't even be over there during those hours. Why would you be? Controlling, manipulative. That's what a man gets called. You're a narcissist. You don't want me to go where I actually want to go. No, you actually want to go towards trouble. Men get tired of that crap. So no, men are this, not all men, bull crap is not phasing men anymore. Because y'all continue, well, step up your protection, step up your provision. It's all of you because you're complicit. Because you sat there and watched it. You supported us, but you didn't really get out there and fight. And if it means doing that, then you need to go out there and start swinging on a random man. Potentially get your block knocked off. But who cares? Be a part of the solution. Shut up.
I have seen people get incredibly angry when they see a body like this on the cover of a magazine.
Gee, I wonder why ever could that be?
I have never seen any outrage like that when a body like this is on the cover of a magazine.
Shocking, isn't it? That there aren't more individuals that are absolutely outraged than a man who is quite apparently in very good physical condition on the cover of a fitness magazine. It's almost like people appreciate truth in advertising, whereas someone doesn't quite understand why people would be upset about someone who is quite obviously overweight on the cover of a magazine with the title beneath it saying, "This is healthy." That would be considered not truth in advertising, because like it or not, being overweight is not considered to be healthy. America is one of the most overweight countries on this planet, and I do understand the importance of body positivity and loving yourself for who you are. But the important thing to remember here is you should love yourself enough to actually take care of your body and to make sure that it is healthy. That is why a lot of individuals are upset.
If you're a woman and you're the breadwinner, why is he with the man? Isn't that the whole point of them?
Ooh, now this could be fun. Let's see how many people know the answer to this question. Which particular ism was just demonstrated in that video? By the implication that a particular group of people's only purpose in a relationship is to fulfill the duties that have been stereotypically assigned to their particular gender. Still don't know what it is? Well, I'll give you another hint. There are some out there who mistakenly are of the opinion that by virtue of fact that a person happens to be of a particular gender, that they cannot experience that particular ism. It's amazing, isn't it, that some actually believe that. But if the roles were reversed, and this question was asked of men in regards to why they're in a relationship with women that don't cook and clean, the answer would be obvious. So I ask again, which ism was just demonstrated against men?
Most men are deeply unattractive because of Mother Nature and something called the Great Scam.
Oh, goody. Another genetics expert.
The Great Scam was the day that the male of the species convinced the female of the species that it no longer needed to prove itself worthy in order to reproduce and have babies.
Wait a minute. They can't be insinuating that the only thing that a male would have to do to prove himself worthy of reproducing would be to be attractive, right? They can't mean that.
The fact that the men are ugly says otherwise, right? They're not supposed to exist. They're supposed to be cannon fodder to the strong, attractive men who are worthy of having babies.
Oh dear. That really does seem to be what they meant. But unbeknownst to a great many out there, there are more qualities to look for in a potential partner than just what they look like. And our ancestors actually knew that.
They're out here being like, the men don't take care of themselves, that's why they're unattractive. No, you're a 10,000-year-old genetic anomaly. He's not supposed to exist, babe.
It will never cease to amaze me how some individuals can remain so willfully uninformed when there's so much information freely available out there on the internet. But let me just say this. Most individuals are aware that there is more to selecting a partner than just what they look like. But I wonder if individuals like this keep the same energy for unattractive women. Or is that another story?
So all the men from my previous post saying that they have found peace by being alone and they're not trying to date because they just want peace. Are you trying to say that we don't bring peace to your life?
Oh, they didn't try to say anything. They flat out said that they'd rather be by themselves and peaceful than to be with some of the women that are available out there.
I have to disagree.
Of course there would be some women that have to disagree with that statement because they simply cannot bring themselves to believe that many men, especially after seeing what's out there in the dating market, would rather be single, and they're actually happier being so.
I do not think that if a woman that you so desired was available to you, you would choose peace over commitment, good meals with conversation, and things like that. So I'm going to call your bluff.
Some women simply don't get it. Because none of those things that were listed are actually what brings a man peace in a relationship. And if we're being really honest with ourselves, most men can get all of those perks of being in a relationship without actually being in one. So quite frankly, ladies, some of you are going to have to start accepting that men can be happy by themselves. I know that comes as a surprise.
I just don't think you should be able to start an argument when you're fat and ugly.
Oh dear. So what now? A person has to be attractive to get into an argument with someone? Okay.
Imagine you're having a serious conversation or a serious argument with someone and you're fatter and uglier than them. That's embarrassing.
No, I don't know. It could be worse. A person could be the least intelligent person in the conversation.
I wouldn't be able to take you seriously.
Indeed. Apparently there are a lot of individuals that think this way, or else they wouldn't try to end conversations with insults.
I don't ever want to hear a man say women are emotional ever again.
Okay, well how about a woman saying it? Women are usually more emotional than men.
I cannot think of a more emotional and irrational thing than men's anger issues and the things that set them off like a game.
But I can. It's someone trying to say that based on the actions of some men's having anger issues, that an individual would try to lump all men in with those men. That sounds like it's coming from a place of pure emotion.
And protect and provide. Actually, men are the ones we need protection from.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But frankly, in my opinion, the thing that a lot of women need protection from the most is bigoted and overly emotional thinking, such as the type that would actually group all individuals of a particular demographic together simply because of the actions of some. Because, wait, that's what racists do, but apparently it's okay for misandrists to do that as well, since it's men.
And women protect each other from men. The only thing these men provide is harm to women.
Well, it is unfortunate that some men are rather dangerous to women, and to other men as well. I would say that perpetuating bigotry is even more dangerous. It will never cease to amaze me the lengths that some will go to try to justify their own bigotry. I mean, unfortunately, it is true that it usually is men that commit the most violent crimes. However, that is a very small percentage of the population. But a lot of individuals, specifically women like some I could mention, like to leave that part out. But they also like to skip over the fact that women are the most likely to commit child. I wonder why they leave that one out. Oh, they'll probably find a way to try to blame men for that one as well. But if anyone is curious as to how long of a message this person left in my comment section, here's a little preview. I really hope they feel better after saying all of that and trying to say disparaging things about me as well. But no, dearie, I don't do things for male validation. And more importantly, I'm not married nor looking to be in a relationship. So that idea that I want to be picked by a man really doesn't hold any water, now does it?
I am in love with two men at once, and I don't know what to do.
Here's an idea. Choose one before they both wise up and regain their self-respect and make the decision for you.
I've never been so happy in my life.
Why? Because stringing two men along is apparently now something to be proud of. But might I add, if a man was making this post, they would call him a pig.
I'm in this, I get to pick. I make the rules now. I'm in love with both, and I'm not going to decide in the next 24 hours. I'm going to let it linger.
Because that's what's fair to both of them, right? Sadly, there are women out there like this that will make a mockery of trampling all over a man's emotions and actually use it for a reason to make content.
I'm going to enjoy this space. Nothing matters. Honestly, if you need something from me, ask me today.
Let's try this. Try being a good human being.
And I'm in the best mood, and I don't know how long this is going to last. I have no idea if this will be till tomorrow, so ask me right now if you need anything, but I'm on top of cloud 9, baby.
I really hope that they both see this and understand what type of person claims to love them.
I mean, for her to be sitting inside the house, recording this, screaming to the rooftops, I'm in love, I'm involved with two men at once, has got to be some level of diabolical stupidity, has got to be some diabolical level of ignorance, of slow. of loserdom. You're a loser. Stop putting this stuff on the internet. But you know what? I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did. So like Lady J says, I can see what stupidity is going on around me, because usually these types of TikToks have a good chance of finding the person that you're talking about. They have a good chance. And a lot of times these men will get on, follow you, and see what you're up to. That's why women are like, why aren't the men approaching us anymore? How come they're not coming to singles events? Well, because we listen to your singles recaps. We've listened to your assessment of men. I think there was one woman that I read recently that said something similar to, I don't really see any good looking men anymore. It used to be that you see a good looking man every quarter, but now it's gotten to the point to where I only see a good looking man maybe once, twice a year or something to that effect. We heard you. So basically 99.9% of the men are ugly to you. So then why would I approach if you're just going to wait till I walk away to talk trash? Well, I'll talk trash in your face. You're still an idiot because you're rude, you're disrespectful, and you're inconsiderate. It doesn't matter whether you're talking trash in a man's face or behind a man's back. You're an idiot for posting stuff like this. But once again, I'm glad you did, because it lets us know which women to avoid. I'm not even going to say delete this video.
As a man, why are you complaining?
I can think of multiple very valid reasons why gentlemen would have a reason to complain about something.
If you are complaining to me, I'm gonna get the immediate ick.
Oh no, not that. I can only imagine the number of gentlemen that are going to be absolutely heartbroken.
Because that's a woman's job.
To complain? Can that really be what they meant?
A woman's job is to complain while you fix.
Well, okay, that was what they meant. Yeah, let's hear it for gender stereotypes, everyone.
Do not get on my phone, start texting me and complaining about your day.
Oh, heaven forbid a guy actually take a moment to vent about his day. How awful. Yet, ironically, these will be some of the same types of women that insist that the guys listen to all of their problems.
I don't care. Solve it. You're a man.
Well, here's a problem that we can solve right now. Gentlemen, if you run into a woman that treats you like that, run the other direction.
Can men just not exist?
No, that would actually be the end of the species. It would actually be rather refreshing, though, to see some women out there that aren't offended by everything male.
They literally ruin everything. I'm so sick of them. I'm sick of going out into society and you guys are there.
Well, here's an idea. Stay home.
It gets to a point, like, I'm so sick of seeing them. Everywhere I turn, there's a man. Oh my god, you guys ruin every freaking experience.
Yeah, they already complained about that already. I wonder, however, if there's a point that they're going to be getting to.
It's to the point where I don't even want to go anywhere. It's like I just go to work and go home because it's like everywhere I go, you are going to be there. Men, I'm so sick of it. Like, you guys ruin every experience. I just can't. Like, I'm so tired. Everywhere I go, it's just annoying. You guys don't know boundaries. You guys don't know how to stay in your lane. Always interjecting yourself. Always speaking too much. Like, can y'all just not talk?
Well, instead of complaining about it constantly, why doesn't someone do something about it? Create an all-female community where all of you that feel the same way can go live together, support each other, and try to find something else to complain about.
Why do men be so offended when you ask them for money?
Maybe because they don't like feeling treated like an ATM.
I do not get that. That just indicates you're broke.
No, it doesn't mean that they're broke. I might point out which person here is asking for money. That's the one that sounds broke.
If a man is complaining about having to spend money on you, he doesn't like you. And it's that simple.
Well, I would actually say that if a woman insists that you spend money on her to prove that you like her, then she really doesn't like you.
There's no such thing as a woman having high standards.
Sure about that? Because I have certainly seen some women out there indicate what their standards happen to be, and in my opinion, they fall into the category of unrealistic expectations.
It's men who have high entitlements and low effort.
Of course. Of course it's the men's fault. After all, why wouldn't it be? And sadly, there's a lot of women that will continue to think this way, because it hasn't occurred to a lot of those women why some men simply don't want to be in relationships with them. The women think that it's because their standards are so high that the men simply don't measure up, and they know this, or they're too lazy to try to meet those standards. When in fact, it's the men who have high standards for themselves in regards to who they choose to be in a relationship with, and a lot of women out there simply don't measure up. Because let's be very clear, having standards in a relationship is healthy. But a lot of women don't like it when they don't measure up to a man's standards. So it's just easier to call him entitled.
Stop and wait a sec. When you look at me like that, my darling, what did you...
Their privilege is showing, and I don't even think they realize it, because it actually seems that they have run out of legitimate things to complain about. Instead of worrying about a man walking behind them, now men can't even walk in front of a woman. It really seems that men can't do anything right, and some women don't realize how lucky they actually are that they have to find things to nitpick about to complain about men.
Guys want to be so bad nowadays, like it's insane.
Oh, really? And how are we going to decide to try to degrade men today?
Like it's insane. Instead of the guy holding the door for me, I had to hold the door for him, and he didn't even say thank you.
Oh no. So a woman got treated in the same way that a lot of men do when they hold the door open for an ungrateful woman. It's like some of them don't like equality when they get a good taste of it.
Like, it blows my mind how guys want to be so bad.
What's really mind-blowing is that there are still actually some women out there that really do believe that simply by virtue of the fact that they happen to be women are actually entitled to not only special treatment, but also special privileges that should be afforded to them by, well, all men. But yet, they would be the very first ones to complain that they're not being treated as equals, but yet they still want special treatment. Can't really have it both ways.
Not trying to pay $150 on a first date.
$150 on a first date. I mean, who could blame them? Who would want to pay that much money just to get to know somebody? Which, I might add, is the entire purpose of a first date.
$150 is honestly like an average cheaper price of going to eat out for two people nowadays.
Average cheaper price. Where exactly are some of these individuals eating? That's not cheap. That's exorbitant.
If you can't afford that, maybe you shouldn't be dating.
If you're a woman and happen to agree with that particular sentiment, that $150 isn't all that much for a guy to spend on a first date, and you're one of those that actually expects a guy to spend a minimum of that much, then I'm just going to say it. You're not interested in getting to know the guy or starting a relationship. You're simply interested in the perks that you're getting for having someone pay for your meal or your activities. I wonder how many names I'm going to get called for that one.
A lot of men these days are jealous of women.
No, they're not. But I'm sure that someone is going to try to make a case for why they are.
Because they feel insecure and they don't feel like they have a use or a purpose anymore.
That's why they're jealous of women? Because most men feel that way? Apparently they don't talk to a lot of men.
Because we can surpass them in the workplace. The one thing they had to impress us.
Really? Someone thinks that's what impresses women? Apparently they don't know much about women either.
And what do they really have anymore? Well, they could have ways to impress us, but instead of doing that, they're insecure and jealous because we're really the impressive ones.
If anyone was ever curious what a circular argument sounds like, you just heard one.
Women can have it all. Men could never have it all.
What exactly do they mean by it all?
Maybe that's why they suppressed us and our rights for so long, because they knew this, that we are the most powerful gender.
Powerful? I guess they're forgetting that whole strength advantage that guys have.
We can literally create life with our bodies.
No, you can't. And I'm sorry, ladies, to break this to you, but if you're amongst those who actually think that women create life all by themselves without the contribution of a man, then you are severely underinformed in biology.
The men who see that, the men who understand that, are gonna be those that end up with women because they know how to treat us and respect us like we deserve.
And how exactly do women deserve to be treated? Because there's a lot of them out there that seem to think they should be treated as better than men. I hope they don't call themselves feminists.
Those who can't see that or don't want to see that are going to remain single and die alone with their video games.
I think a lot of men would prefer to be single as opposed to being with someone who has an entitled attitude.
think the scales will rebalance. It might take a crazy, insane event for men to wake up and step up again and learn that they can step up. And I think the ones who just stay insecure and jealous are removing themselves from the gene pool so their generational trauma doesn't repeat itself. What are your thoughts? Let's chat about it in the comments.
I think a lot of individuals put too much weight on being in a relationship. Being in a relationship doesn't make a person better than anyone else. Because quite frankly, there are a lot of us that would rather be single than with the wrong person.
What's confusing to me is Netflix puts out, thousands of pieces of content. Disney Plus, Hulu, thousands, hundreds of thousands pieces of content that are a lot of times at least 20 minutes long, at least 20 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes, an hour long. Some of the movies are an hour and a half, 2 hours. Some movies are 3 hours long. You've got HBO, you've got Peacock, you've got Paramount, you've got Apple TV, you've got Tubi, you got BET Plus. There, Hallmark, Lifetime, A&G Network. You got cable on the highest packages: Starz, Showtime, Cinemax. I don't even know if Cinemax exists anymore. But you've got all of this stuff that you could be watching. You could be binging. You could be enjoying it. I see your house. It looks nice. You could be doing all of this. But instead, you've decided to take time out of your day to speak about foolishness. And this is what men are tired of. It's just ignorance. I don't want to be... Men are tired of being around chaos. They're tired of being around blatant ignorance and stupidity. Once again, unfortunately, we don't call these women losers enough. And it's unfortunate that you have to be called a loser. It's unfortunate that you have to be shamed. Because at your age, you should know better. This is what is frustrating to men about modern women. At your age, for some of you, I can see if you're in your early 20s, you don't really know much. You're still trying to get a grasp on the world. You're trying to figure yourself out. A lot of men give grace. When you're 25, you're still kind of learning too. You're developing. Even to 30. But modern women are going past 30. They're getting into their 40s and even their 50s. Still talking just as dumb as this. Still talking just as dumb as this. Get a grip.
I kind of feel like when you look at a man, you can already tell that they come from a mutated chromosome.
Should I say it?
The way that they physically look, you can already tell that they were a failed experiment at becoming a woman, and so they had no choice to become a man.
Okay, why not? You know, there are some individuals out there that really should not be criticizing what others look like.
Stop saying you want a woman with a low body count and just say that your ego can't risk a woman knowing how terrible you are in bed.
So, men aren't allowed to have reasonable standards when it comes to dating. Is that it? How interesting. It really must be rough for some women to be so absolutely hypocritical. Because I would like to point out that if a woman had said that she would only be with a man who had a low body count, she would not only be praised as a queen, but told that she is doing the right thing by having respect for herself and only wanting to be with someone who also has self-respect. Yet if it's a man that has a reasonable or even a high standard when it comes to dating, they are actually often shamed for it. While women are told to shoot for the moon to have men with the highest salaries and best jobs and the best looks, men are essentially just told that they should be very grateful for what they get.
Why does the average man think that he could fully beat a professional female fighter?
Well, that's because 99.9% of the time, they absolutely can. And I know hearing that is going to upset some out there, but those are probably the same ones that are getting upset that like to avoid things like factual information and basic biology. It's either that or they've been watching way too many action films and actually believe it when the 120-pound female heroine actually manages to defeat the 220-pound male villain using nothing but skill alone. It's either that or they have no concept of reality.
I'm so afraid to have kids because what if, worst case scenario, what if I have a boy?
I would feel very sorry for that child if such a person was to be their potential mother, because unfortunately, this is really a sign of how much the prejudice against men has become almost normalized in our society, and that misandry is such a mainstream part of it, that this is not an uncommon sentiment that has been expressed by many women who despise men. They would rather not have children at all than have a boy.
Sorry, have you ever met a boy, like, at any age?
Oh, wait, this is going somewhere, and it's disturbing.
They're all obsessed with jacking off or violent things or violently jacking off.
Well, that was just troubling. However, I would like to take this moment to address those women out there that happen to agree with what that person said. If you are of the opinion that you do not like the way that your child is behaving, or that they are doing inappropriate things, in your opinion, do you know whose fault that is? It's not the fault of the child, because they are a child. That would be the fault of the parents or parent who does not teach their child acceptable boundaries and appropriate behaviors. Parents are responsible for raising their children to be responsible adults, but some of you just want to blame it on their gender. It's time to accept some personal responsibility.
If you ever get nervous to talk to a man in public, just remember they're a man.
Yes, a man would in fact be a man. I'm glad so many individuals out there can have a good grasp of the obvious. But why did they say that with what seems like disgust in their voice?
They're men. Even the hot ones, they're still men at the end of the day. They're men. You simply breathing, you're already better than them.
And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Finally, someone had enough internal fortitude to put their prejudice on full display for everyone to see and admit what they really think about men. Unfortunately, though, this is not an uncommon belief system among some women. They actually are of the opinion that they are superior to men by simply existing. Yet, when put on the spot, many of them cannot actually articulate an argument that would actually convince any rational person that they would be correct. But the saddest part about that is that a lot of these women will be the first to claim that they are in fact feminists. But then again, it's not all that uncommon for some individuals to use words without even understanding what they mean.
I'm actually gonna crash out because why the did I just see a man post on Instagram 33 minutes ago and he has 100 likes?
Okay, and that is a problem somehow because why?
And he's not famous.
Sounds like jealousy. This might come as a complete shock, but a person doesn't have to be famous in order to post content that people actually like. That's the key part.
I swear to God, if men don't get off social media, I'm gonna make the cartel putting hits on ice look like a beginner.
Ew. That just really goes to show that jealousy really is not a good look, and it can absolutely bring out the worst traits in some individuals, as we have just seen, because not only was that an attempt at, I hope, a joke, not only in very poor taste, but that wasn't even remotely funny.
Women are always told to choose better men, like it's their problem, the men are bad.
How about taking that dreaded first step towards some personal accountability and realize that a lot of women, in fact, do need to choose better? Because a lot of times, some women tend to choose the same types of men that have the same bad characteristics over and over again and decide that it's all men that share those characteristics.
The men are never told to be better men.
Has someone not been paying attention? Because there are multitudes of individuals out there telling men every single day that they need to be better. But I guess someone must have missed that.
It's much easier for a man to choose to be better than a woman to choose better, because a lot of these men are wolves in sheep's clothing.
Really? Exactly how difficult is it for some women out there to actually understand the characteristics that make a good man as opposed to just an attractive man? Because a lot of women will simply date on what they find attractive versus what should be considered for a relationship. And that's the main problem there.
It's just the age old, we don't talk about this or we don't talk about that enough for modern women. We don't talk about how this happens in society enough. No, we do. It's just that you want to talk about it. So you say we don't talk about it enough because you weren't part of the conversation when it was being talked about. As a matter of fact, somebody was talking about it a couple of days ago. We don't tell men enough that they need to be better men. Actually, have you been on the internet? They're telling men, society in general is telling men they're getting left behind. They're telling men you're not up to par with women. Women are out earning you. Women are smarter than you. They're more educated than you. They're buying homes at a faster pace than you. Get with it. You need to be a better man. We're not going to marry you if you're not emotionally intelligent, if you're not emotionally available or vulnerable, if you're not communicating effectively. That's the things that they say. They say men need to have better hygiene, have a better fashion choice, have better fashion choices. They say that men need to stop taking certain pictures. They say that men need to have better names. Men need to write better bios on dating sites. I'm not going to date a man that looks ugly, and 80 to 90% of the men that I come into contact with are ugly. And you can improve that by doing X, Y, and Z. It usually has to do with you going under the needle or under the knife for plastic surgery or cosmetic surgery. So, yeah, men are definitely told that they need to improve. They need to be better to date within their tax bracket. And usually for a lot of women, their tax bracket is bums. You're a bum of a man. Even if statistics say the man is an average man. He's a regular man. He's making more than you. He's still a bum to you. Even if the man is more competent than you are, for some reason, you still think that he's a bum. But y'all are continuing to tell men to grow and get better and stop being so immature and stand in your mom's basement, even though that man really has his own house. His house looks better than yours does. His house is 75% of the way paid off. Yours, in the last 10, 15, 20 years, you still at the starting point of your loan, basically. And y'all be talking about men.
Men, just a reminder, don't ever feel guilty for cheating on your wife.
Oh my goodness. This person is giving advice now. Oh, goody.
It's her fault for being lazy and not pleasuring you.
I mean, no. That's not an excuse for cheating. There's never an excuse to cheat. If a person is unhappy in a relationship, do the adult thing and just leave the relationship. Have a conversation about it. Don't be that person that tries to make excuses for bad behavior. There is no excuse for being unfaithful to your partner. Whether you're a man or a woman, there is not one legitimate, reasonable, logical excuse for it. But I gotta say, that person giving advice on anything having to do with monogamous relationships, no, that's something new, isn't it?
So apparently there's a male loneliness epidemic right now.
Why is that funny?
Is this the consequences of your own actions?
Oh, I see. This is apparently another one blaming men for everything.
Wait, I'm sorry. We're addressing men's issues, so this is a serious matter.
Should it not be? Or does one just consider men's issues to be irrelevant?
There's a therapy app for that. Cats are an option.
Speaks the voice of experience.
I can confirm having a cat helps. It helps. So, you might want to grow old with your cats or something. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, like I said.
Have you tried just, picking better women?
Well, I guess we all know who's disqualified from that pool of choices.
Maybe if you just didn't let yourselves go. You gotta stay tight. This ad said that you could save 15% or more on your loneliness by being nice.
Guess someone's not getting that discount.
Have you tried life with a side of respect?
The irony's just beautiful here, isn't it?
And finally, here's the real shocker. Okay, are you okay? Have you tried looking at women as actual human beings and equal? Just a thought.
That is a good thought. Now try applying that to men as well.
Unfortunately, There seems to be a lot of women out there with that particular mentality. And I'm sure to a lot of you gentlemen out there, it might even seem like it's the majority, if not all, women that feel this way. But rest assured, the vast majority of us actually find that loud minority to be not just distasteful, but disrespectful and downright infantile in their behavior. And I often wonder when I see stuff like this, what exactly do they think that they're accomplishing by doing so? By spreading a lack of that ever so loved term, empathy, for other human beings. It's really not making some of them look very good now, is it? Because the only individuals that they happen to be impressing by this type of behavior are women with like-minded mentalities. They're not going to be changing anyone's mind. Unfortunately, they're just making themselves look foolish.
Describe the scary and dangerous hate that men have in their hearts towards women.
It is well past the point in which we really need to put a stop to some of these harmful narratives, because factually, there are good men and there are bad men, just as there are good women and there are bad women. And trying to say that all men hate women is, in fact, harmful. Not all men that treat women badly do so because they hate them or because they dislike them. Because if that was true, then the opposite would also be the case in regards to women, would it not? So we really need to stop saying that something is true about an entire group of people, whether it be gender, race, religion. These types of things need to stop because it is truly harmful, and it is actually, if anyone hadn't noticed, starting to tear our nation apart. We need to do a lot better than this.
Take over the jobs the men were doing. We'll be fine. We did it during World War II.
Correction. We didn't do anything. Most of us weren't around during World War II. That was a very different generation of women with very different morals, and they actually knew what constituted a good work ethic. So good luck with many of those women today that are very entitled in their way of thinking, in so much as that some women think that they should be paid just to have someone date them. They expect someone that they're dating to pay for their lifestyles as well as their children, and they seem to feel entitled to a great marriage or a relationship with someone who's vastly wealthy, even though they don't bring anything to the table but their physical appearance. So good luck trying to get those individuals to do the work that no one else wants to do.
If women are drafted to the military, I am most excited to see the confrontation between commanding officers and the girls.
Between commanding officers and the girls? Oh dear.
Think we're going to let you yell at us? You think we're going to do something without a please and thank you?
Please allow me to introduce a little reality into this situation, because personnel in the military are under legal obligation to follow all lawful orders that they are given. And a please and a thank you are not required.
We've all had controlling ex-boyfriends. We know not to put up with that.
It's almost as if they're not understanding that it's not just men that are in positions of authority in the military.
Like, let's sit down and have a conversation about what you want and what I want, and we'll reach a happy medium. Because there's no way I'm doing what you want when you use that tone with me. You think you can push us around like you do with these men? Think again, baby. You're gonna learn some manners.
And I think one would learn very quickly that having a bad attitude and obvious problems with people in positions of authority wouldn't get one very far. But most importantly, the Uniform Code of Military Justice doesn't play.
For the first time, possibly in history, women are admitting they want daughters, not sons.
Oh, don't worry. This is certainly going somewhere.
Having a son is seen as an extreme burden to women around the world.
Burdens? Really? And how is raising a son different than raising a daughter?
You are expected to birth them, educate them, and shield them from conditioning from other boys. All this without acknowledgement.
Oh, so some women want acknowledgement for being a good parent? You would think that just being a good parent would be reward enough in itself.
In fact, that very same son may grow up to take his mother's rights away.
Oh yes, there are a lot of individuals out there that will try to convince some women that they need to be fearful of their own children in the future. But may I be very specific? It's only the boys that they're talking about. They would never mention the girls.
Women globally are reaching a line of contention, refusing to give birth to life that may become a weapon against them, against other women. This is why movements like 4B exist.
Oh, because of ignorance, fear, and bigotry? Got it.
Women are refusing to birth their own oppressors.
See what I mean?
They are liberating themselves from a life of suffering. Sons are no longer the standard, daughters are.
I wonder how long it's going to be before boy moms start being harassed for having boys. Oh, wait. In case some of you didn't notice, that's already happening.
I don't think modern women truly understand that women are capable. Modern women are very capable of leaving you high and dry. If they're going to do it to a man, it's in there. Well, I only do it to men because this, and this. What happens when there are no men? What happens when it's just you and I? I'm going to choose myself. It's easier to choose a man because y'all are all united against men. And it's acceptable socially to treat a man like dirt. But when you have you and even your friend, even your mother, you're going to choose yourself. You're not going to choose your mother. Well, Mom, you lived your life and this is what you would want me to do, right? Okay, so I got to make the hard decision for you to suffer and not for me. Modern women would do that. They already do it. Like I said, they're going to continue to do it. So y'all keep on talking about how men will do this and take your rights away. Y'all are going to take your rights away. Y'all are going to get to the point to where what you're going to do is you're going to put yourself behind like a glass shield of sorts. And then you're going to say, okay, let's drop the news. And then we're going to try to reason. We're going to try to say, hey, we didn't want to do this, but X, Y, and Z. And if they don't take to that, then we're going to lock ourselves away and pray that it goes away. And then we're going to come out months later, hoping that everything goes like we want it to go. We're not going to apologize. We're just going to leave it like that. That's all it's going to be. That's what y'all do with everything. Y'all don't apologize. Y'all don't fix anything. Y'all just, for men at least, y'all try to give them a little something to make them not mad. Or maybe you order them a meal or something like that, DoorDash them. But you never really apologize. You never really go back and fix your mistakes. You just do whatever you want and you expect the man to drop it. And because society has conditioned the man to be lenient and merciful on you, a lot of times, even though men are ticked off, they allow you to get away with it, to be honest. But women, y'all, you type of women, y'all are catty. Y'all don't let anything go. Y'all hold grudges. As a matter of fact, y'all create scenarios in your head that are not even true. And then y'all put that scenario, y'all project that scenario onto another person. Then y'all talk about intuition and my gut was telling me this, and you'll get like 3 or 4 of your girlfriends, which they just as delusional as you are, to agree with you. And then you act on something that's not real. And you end up hurting somebody. And when you realize that you hurt somebody, then you run back to your friends and your friends back you up instead of saying, nah, you was off on that. We need to go ahead and correct that. Y'all talking about men. You are the problem. You're going to be the problem. Period. In the story. With you trying to put that stuff that you talking about inside of your daughter, she going to be a nightmare. You think you raising a good person? You gonna see.
Why do men not understand hints?
Hints. Why give hints? Would not the best solution just to be direct about what one wants so that there's no possibility for confusion instead of beating around the bush, being indirect, and somehow magically expecting a man to be able to read one's mind?
Why do I have to spell everything out?
Serious question. Is the yelling helping at all? Is it helping to convey what one wants? Or is it just showing that one is frustrated and is unable to communicate effectively?
Why can't you just one simple little hinting at this? Understand what I'm trying to say? I don't want to have to spell everything out like I'm your mother.
Well, do allow me to spell this one out. The best way for someone to understand what one actually wants would be, firstly, use those words. Make sure that they actually understand what one is wanting. Be upfront. Be honest. And by all means, stop expecting people to be mind readers.
Does height matter?
Of course it does.
Well, everyone has their preferences, but I really don't think they appreciated this next part.
Step on the scale.
I'm not going to scale. You should love a girl for who they are.
You should love a guy for who they are, regardless of height.
That's true.
Right, that is true. But wait.
So take it back.
I'm not taking it back.
Step on the scale.
No.
You're being a coward.
Wait, you're ridiculous.
Hold on. By this logic, it's not okay to care what your partner's weight is. but it's absolutely acceptable to care how tall they are. What?
You need to know an exact number.
You don't need to know an exact height.
All you gotta know is that they're taller than me, and that's it.
Okay, I want you to be lighter than me. Step on the scale.
No.
It's almost too funny, isn't it? The fact that in society it's highly encouraged for women to have strict dating standards in regards to what the men they choose to date look like. But it's often frowned upon if men have standards in regards to what the women that they choose to date physically look like. I wonder why that is.
How much does a wedding ring have to cost?
I am happy to announce that someone finally had a good answer.
Baby, it could be $50. It really doesn't matter. I just want to be in love. I want to be genuine. I want a happy, healthy marriage. So the ring, I mean, what the cost of the ring, it really doesn't mean anything because it's not like I'm going to go sell it. But the ring is just a symbol of my commitment to my man. So however much he can really afford, whatever he feels like he wants to give me, I think that's better.
And then there's this part, which is just classic.
Listen, these hoes have 3 kids with no marriage. So I'd rather the ring and my man than the cost of it. That don't matter to me.
And then there's this part.
So, like, he could give you a ring pop and you would...
And if a woman is truly in love with her man, this is about what she would say to that question.
Baby, take me to the courthouse with that ring pop. Thank you. Hello.
And if nothing else, gentlemen, this should be at least a little bit reassuring that there are still women out there that actually care more about the love in the relationship than how much you have in your bank account.
Okay, I am the problem.
Oh, good. Maybe this is a sign that some personal accountability is actually being taken.
I went on a date with this guy.
Okay, go on.
And he was like, it's getting late. Do you want to come back to my place? And I was like, sure, but I'm not going to sleep with you. Like, that's not happening. And he was like, that's totally fine. Just come over.
Oh, good. Mutually agreed upon boundaries have been set. So what's the problem?
Go to his place. He respects my wishes. He's so nice. He cuddles me all night.
And go on.
And I'm like, are you gay?
What? A man acted like a gentleman, respected the woman's wishes, and now he's what? Explain.
I just wanted him to like try, and then for me to be like, no. You know what I mean?
So you wanted the guy to completely disregard your boundaries. Right. More mixed signals than a broken stoplight.
I wasn't going to sleep with him. I just, now I feel ugly.
And that's not his fault. That's a self-confidence problem.
This is what...
Indeed. By the way, that was probably one of those good guys that one has spent so long wondering where exactly they're at.